Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing a movie review on The Conjuring Last Rites, the latest installment in the Conjuring universe and the final film following Ed and Lorraine Warren. Before I begin this review, I'd like to apologise for the lack of uploads on my channel for basically a whole month. Yeah, it is probably frustrating for you guys, and I do understand your feelings. I'm really sorry, but I do have an explanation for that, and it's simply just because since my last video, school for me, or at least for the UK, Scotland has came back on, and I've just had to go back to school obviously, and that takes up much more time. Homework as well being given, and then I've had the cold. I've been sick actually for the past week, so I had a sore head, and now I've got a sore throat. You might be able to hear it in my voice in this video when I'm speaking. So again, I apologize for that. It does kind of sound a bit, hoarse. Like it's not actually like my normal voice. So I will try to speak normally if I can, but yeah, if it sounds weird, then that's probably why, because of my sore throat. Directed by Michael Chaves, however you pronounce his name. He directed the last two films before this, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, and The Nun 2. You'd think this film would seem pretty similar in terms of direction with those two, but it isn't actually the case. I think this film is better than both of those films, and works as a surprise with it being that kind of final film for Ed and Lorraine Warren. Your hopes and expectations would naturally, be quite high, and so for me, after watching it, I was left with a mixture of happiness and disappointment, to say the least, about this film. There's quite a lot to talk about this film, so I will go through everything I want to talk about. I will try my best, telling you my positives, what I liked and what I didn't like, and yeah, it was an interesting experience, especially watching this in the cinemas. The first Conjuring film I watched in the cinemas. Pretty good atmosphere. So going into my positives, I have to say, after 8 films, the Conjuring universe has not lost its ability to surprise and frighten. The film, from my point of view, wasn't like scary, if you know what I mean, but it was more surprising. Like there was more jumps than scares for me, and you can sort of predict the scare when it comes after a certain point in the film, because there's so many that you just kind of know there will be one coming around the corner. But at the same time, you don't know when it's coming, so a scare is, well, the scare will happen, but then at the same time, the jump, it comes out of nowhere. The startle, this is what works. So, yeah, that was basically my case. There was scares that I knew were going to happen, literally, like, it was really predictable, actually, but at the same time, you'd at least expect there would be another jump, or little thing that would startle you. So it was pretty interesting, actually. It was pretty good. If that makes sense, I don't know if I'm making sense, but after a couple of scares, the film becomes really obvious for what it would do to startle its audience. But the jump scares were pretty good. The best or favourite one for me was probably the one in the TV, where the character, the girl, I can't remember her name, she initially pauses the video, she's viewing a video, because she thought her sister blew out the candle on that night, but actually wasn't. It actually wasn't her, it was actually a demon. And when she pauses at the right moment, you literally can see the demon's face in the darkness. And then it's all silent and the camera pans round. And in that far back corner of the room is just a demon standing there ominously. The demon's like a man of some sort with like an axe. I think it's the best design personally since the Crooked Man from Conjuring 2. So yeah, because most of the demons are just like old ladies smiling, and so to actually get a guy with a weapon is pretty cool. Correct me if I'm wrong if there has been another demon in the film, or the franchise, sorry, like that has a different design other than like an old lady, because I've not seen The Conjuring 3, I've only seen the first two, and now this film. But yeah, there was some, good designs for the demons. They look good with the effects, and still brilliant stuff and good scares, which is what this franchise is all about. I thought the story wasn't too bad for this film either, with the Conjuring films all based on like real life events, or loosely based on real life events at least, using them as their basis foundation of the way to tell their film. And this one kind of relates to their last case. So in 1986, if I believe it was the Smurl haunting, this was meant to be their last case, or at least the real life last case, main last case that the Warrens investigated. So with this, being that subject of the final film, telling Ed and Lorraine Warren's story, it makes pretty much perfect sense. And Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga, reprising their now iconic roles as, the Warrens, are great as always, and their performance in this film was no exception. And I thought the ending in this film was a happy one. It's really well deserved, actually. I wouldn't expect like a cliffhanger twist for them to both die, because that just doesn't happen. That doesn't go off real life. I think these films main bases are to tell the real story and to tell the struggles. Because I think I've heard people say it would have been more interesting if they died, one of them died or something. But I think that just contradicts to what happens in real life. Real life, they would have died. So it makes it more realistic, I guess, in a sense, when they don't die and they stay alive. So yeah, the ending's quite happy. It's a good ending, especially for the Warrens. After all these years of physical torture, torment, and nightmare, they can finally sit down and catch their breath. Not to mention that the characters from the previous films all make a small cameo, most notably the Perrin family and Janet from Conjurings 1 and 2. So yeah, that's pretty cool seeing the past characters. I'm sure there's also a character from the third film again who I don't know anything about because I've not seen the third film. After just watching this, I do realise I probably will have to watch it at some point. I'm sure I will get around to watching The Devil Made Me Do It. Just don't know when, but yeah, it was good. So it was nice seeing all the past characters return for even a couple of seconds. But then we get to the problems of this film, the negatives, and the first of which I'll just start off by saying is Annabelle, right? So I know she's like a face of the franchise, but I need to get this out of the way by saying that she's yet again appeared in another Conjuring film and tried to steal the spotlight. Does she keep forgetting she has her own franchise within this universe? She has 3 films of her own already, and yeah, that's not enough for her. She has to keep appearing in all the films. Also, when did she get that big? She moves now and she's massive. She's like 10 feet tall. She's like the size of the house. It was arguably hilarious though, Big Annabelle, especially the close up of her face in the camera. I couldn't help but laugh at some sort actually when that appeared in the cinemas. Yeah, the film also has some pacing issues as well, like awkwardly going from an even pace to a slow pace to a rushed fast paced in the end. It was a wasted opportunity. I could have easily seen this film kind of flown much more smoothly if they had fixed the pacing. Like, if they had kept the pacing the way it went with in the start, because the start flowed pretty well, then it went to a slow pace throughout the middle of the film. It was just pretty slow. I was like, oh, okay, and then it just rushed so much in the end. Like the last 20 minutes were quite rushed. Like it was quite messy, if you know what I mean. Like it kind of could have been much better in terms of pacing. As I said, the predictableness of this film as well was really predictable. Like as I said earlier, the repeat scares and the lack of anything new used starts to feel old and just easy to predict, which I feel just kind of adds to that list of setbacks with a film. Keeping the film from being better. The characters in this movie as well are just questionably stupid. I mean, I get you have to make them that way, especially in a horror film, to let the story play out, but man, I thought that Judy Warren, the daughter of Lorraine Warren, would have been so much smarter than letting a little demon fool her. Especially given she can sort of sense these things and has been taught by her mother as well. It makes kind of no sense for her to be fooled and then go up to the attic herself, take her time slowly and then grab a torch and then shine it slowly, and then basically she's just asking to be captured or killed by the demon. It's crazy because she just stands there. I mean, would you not, if you sense something's wrong, would you not just get out of there as fast as you can? You don't stand there and wait for something to happen. It's really stupid. Like that gets to a point for me to start questioning: are you really that smart? Is that really the best idea? The best decision? So yeah, that's when I start to question. And after giving a very dramatic build up over the entire course of the film, the ending, I have to say, was very anticlimactic. I mean, for the final film, I was expecting something big to happen, like an explosion or big banishment with a cross or some sort, but it was all just the Warrens holding hands, the curse mirror spinning, chip video, and then it was over. Like, maybe it was just me. Maybe I did just have too high expectations and standards going into this, but I can't deny and say I was a little disappointing. But yeah, that's really the main things I have to say about this film. It's good, then it's bad, then it's mixed. So overall mixed. But I did enjoy it. I'll say I did more enjoy it than dislike it, if that makes sense. And there's more good things than bad things. And it's a good film, Last Rites. I did genuinely enjoy it. It was fun and entertaining, but I also felt wasted. There could have been so much more things added or fixed that could have made this film so much better. And it did have the potential to be a better film. It could have been on par with possibly the first two. But I think I could say, even though I've not seen 3, it possibly could be better than 3, based on people's opinions and reactions. But yeah, I also forget at times, in my opinion, that it's the last film and it acts just like any ordinary Conjuring film. That middle act of the film perfectly displays that. But as a send off to the Warrens, it does work fine, I guess. So yeah, I do recommend you watch this film in the cinemas as well. Because the atmosphere is just pretty fun to be in. It was pretty funny seeing all the people like react to the jump scares and scream every time there was one. So yeah, it was fun. So yeah, cinema is my recommendation. But it's completely fine, of course, if you can't make it to the cinema, and just wait till it comes onto streaming or DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. So I'd have to give Last Rites a 3.5 out of 5 stars. That seems pretty fine. That's like the rating I was going to give it beforehand. It looked like a 3.5 to me anyway, and then a 7 out of 10. It's a good movie at the end of the day. I will say I enjoyed it. It was fun, and it was just a nice experience to get to watch the first Conjuring film for me in cinemas. Or sorry, my first Conjuring film in the cinema. I should word that more better. But yeah, so yeah, it was a good experience, and I'm really glad I went to see it. It was good. But as I said, I had really high expectations. So that's good because that shows how good the Conjuring films are. They are really good horror films, and the fact that they are based off of, or loosely based off of true events, makes it all more, I guess cool. I don't know if that's the right word, but yeah, it is cool to see these are loosely based off of real events. But yeah, so that is it for this review, guys. If you did enjoy, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I really will try to post more in the following weeks, so stay tuned for those videos. And yeah, until the next one, bye bye.